Welcome into a special edition of Twitch and Box Sports Talk, trade deadline edition here. It is currently, the trade deadline is done. We're doing this November 4th here, about 7:30. We're going to recap today's trades and the trade deadline. We're going to talk about some winners and losers in there. Starting off yesterday, Jalen Phillips, edge rusher from the Dolphins, gets traded to the Eagles for a third-round pick. Draymond Jones gets traded to the Ravens for a fifth-round pick from the Titans. Jacoby Meyer, Raiders wide receiver, gets traded to Jacksonville for a fourth and a sixth-round pick, adding depth. Logan Wilson, linebacker who requested to be traded 2 weeks ago from the Bengals, goes to the Cowboys for a seventh. The biggest trade of the day for sure, Sauce Gardner, cornerback for the New York Jets, traded to the Colts for 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell, who's a wide receiver. He was the guy who dropped the ball week 2 on the goal line before they scored. So, I mean, understand why they wanted to get him out of town. Rashid Sneed traded for a fourth and a fifth-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks, adding another deep threat weapon there from the Saints. Quentin Williams traded for a second-round pick this year and next year's first-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys. And the last one to round it off here is Trevor Penning traded to the Chargers after Joe Alt going down for a conditional sixth-round pick. So a lot of trade movement today. Obviously, the biggest one that we're going to start off talking about is Sauce Gardner going to the Colts for 2 firsts and A.D. Mitchell. It's really surprised me. I knew the Colts wanted to be good, but I didn't see them going all in, especially this year, and especially with that big of a blockbuster trade. But, I mean, they're all in now. They're about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a win or go home at this point.
Yeah, I think over the last couple of weeks, some of the past, even like what Indy's given up, and so they wanted to solidify that and like you said, go all in. Starting off 7-2, and Jim Irsay's daughter, Jean, like first year, like being aggressive.
Yeah, very much so.
So I like it. I mean, so they had a solid, but now they have a true number one. Where it's like when I think of number one corners, like Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain, PS2, like those are the guys that like come to my mind first. So like for a team that's 7-2, and then like now to have, they already had a pretty decent secondary, to then add somebody like Sauce Gardner and the big plays and giving that offense, give or take, last week had been the best offense in the NFL, and so hopefully more opportunities for the offense. So that one was one of the two. I mean, that was obviously the biggest name to move today.
That one surprised me for sure.
Yeah.
Feel like we have to talk about this, but Jerry Jones comes out last night and says there's a big monumental trade in progress, and then he goes out and gets Quentin Williams from the Jets, who a couple years ago would have been a huge name, but nowadays, he's a little bit older in his career, and he trades for Logan Wilson, who, again, same thing. If you would have traded for Logan Wilson a couple years ago, would have been a big name. I mean, he was the Mike linebacker of that Super Bowl team the Bengals put together, but now trading him for a seventh, I mean, kind of a guy on the downhill slide of his career. So, I mean, by definition, the Cowboys just doing Cowboys things.
Yeah,
Quentin Williams definitely shore up that defense, but
it makes the run defense a little bit better. Like he still plays at an above average level, but obviously, like you said, not the same level that Pro Bowl level that he used to be at. But 2 solid depth pieces, but nothing's going to jump off the page, especially for what I think most people feel is probably bottom 2 defense in the NFL. So we're not getting. It's not going to. I don't see that really adding to getting pressure on the quarterback or making that big of a difference on the scoreboard of the other team. So. And I said they're still solid players. I said, but I mean, I don't feel like Dallas took a real step forward. So.
Yeah, I feel like if anything,
Yeah.
Who knows what they're doing down there?
Yeah.
The last one that was intriguing to me for sure is Jacoby Myers getting traded to Jacksonville with Travis Hunter going down this week. I'll be very interested to see how he works into that offense. He requested a trade, I think, like week 2 of the season, so very early. It might have been even preseason still. But giving Trevor Lawrence another weapon after Travis Hunter out and add another depth piece down there. I'm interested to see if that'll add in another receiver like that will get the Jags. They turn into true playoff contenders the next time we do our rankings there.
Yeah, I mean they're right on that cusp. They're going to be fighting for it, and with the Colts obviously losing this week, closes that gap a little bit. I think what the Jags are 5-3, so gives them another piece even when even when Hunter comes back. So it's a good possession receiver, speedster, when Jacoby Myers, and so it gives Trevor Lawrence another weapon. To me, I think the biggest one that caught my eye was Snead to the Seahawks.
Yeah, I feel like that one's sneaky for sure. Like,
because of the speed and the big play, and playing an offense with New Orleans, I feel like he's underutilized. But then you put him with who's been right now it's been, especially with Egbuka being on a bye and being hurt, the clear number one receiver so far this year has been Nelson Najigba.
I traded for him today in fantasy.
So nice. And then he said, now you have where I think that Cooper Kupp's not what he used to be, but he's still a solid player. But he's a number 3 receiver now, so adding another weapon for Sam Darnold, and like how good the Seahawks have looked the last couple of weeks in that defense, and then you add another big play guy. That's just going to free it up even more. Even like I said, even for the third wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, a good move the chain slot guy, get open. I thought that was an underrated move. I said it's not near as flashy as obviously the Sauce Gardner, but one that I think will really pay off and really be huge. Like Seattle's, I've been saying all year, is legit, and so having 2 legitimate wide receivers, that's the other one that caught my eye.
Yeah, very much so. Last question I'm going to ask here for everybody is, so none of our teams were active today during the trade window. What's one position you wish your team would have maybe went out and got a little depth in or a little bit of help? Personally, a lot of people wanted us to get a wide receiver too, which I was like, I would have been fine with if we didn't give up too high of a draft pick, like a Jalen Waddle would have been nice. But one thing I really wish we would have added some depth on is the linebacker core. Alex Singleton's been fine, but Dre Greenlaw's been hurt. He's only played 1 game. He got suspended. He's coming back this week. But I think adding a depth linebacker piece, like the Cowboys traded for him, like a Logan Wilson who wanted out of there, just another good depth linebacker piece to shore up that defense who's already been playing pretty hot.
Yeah, for me, I've been saying it all year, and so like a nice honorable mention would be probably getting somebody like Quentin Williams on the defensive line. I said, or a running back after losing Najee Harris and not really having, Gainwell has played a couple good games, but really disappeared over the last 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So having somebody like that's what I liked about the last couple of years is Pittsburgh having that bruiser and that smaller back out of the backfield, having Warren and somebody like Najee Harris. I don't know who else would have been available today, but the biggest for me, I've been saying it for 2 years, and that's all we've heard since training camp is Pittsburgh. We're still going to add somebody to the wide receiver, and they still don't have a solid number 2 receiver, and then to not even sign anybody. Like Jacoby Myers was our bottom of the order, and that's nothing against him because he is a solid player. But that was between Jalen Waddle and some of the other big names. That was what I was disappointed about as far as my team not being very aggressive, or not being able to pull off the trade. I guess I should say. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but
I don't know. Trying to figure out what's going to go on with Pacheco from week to week. I don't know what's going on there, obviously.
Yeah.
But if that's a serious, the last half of the year, if that's questionable, then I think that they need to look at somebody else to help out Kareem Hunt back there. They're working him into that offense, but I think that we see Kareem Hunt in there on short distance goal line situations, and he's been fantastic. But if we want to keep that wide receiver threat down the field, I think we definitely need to have a run threat. That's where I thought maybe we would go after somebody, but not surprised that we didn't. So
yeah, if you circle back to like the Chiefs when they've been successful and won the Super Bowls, they've always had a 1-2 combo. If it was like a Hunt Pacheco or the Jaren McKinnon Pacheco combo they had there for the Mahomes' 3rd Super Bowl. Like the Chiefs always seem to have a good 1-2 combo, and this year their 1-2 combo, one of the two's out. So it'd be interesting to see how the rest of that season goes on. But that's going to wrap up our trade deadline recap from November 4th of the 2025 season. Hope everybody's on the lookout for our State of the Broncos, Chiefs, and Steelers, as well as our Week 10's Twitch and Box Sports Talk. But hope everybody has a great week, and we'll catch you guys later.